Hello, Ben here. In this video, I'd like to talk about pain, which I think I tried before on the Instagram, which didn't quite work because it's so windy and I was outside. Um, I think this has to be the key component of mental health. And even though I'm technically CBT and we analyze faulty thinking systems, and that does have its utility, and I love the specificity of CBT, by the way, it has a great accessibility. So it definitely has its feet at the table when it comes to therapeutic approaches, that's for sure, as well as others, and they tend to go towards the same place eventually. Even so, I'm not too sure about the faulty thinking system thing at the same time, because we have to like try and think by what metric is it faulty, to what end is it faulty, I mean, if it's really getting one extremely anxious, extremely stressed to the point of having a meltdown, then yeah, okay, let's look at that. It's affecting your other relationships and your life, yeah. That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is that what's already in your mind and is making you anxious might be something that directly or indirectly is guiding you at the same time. I've made a small reference to it before on the Instagram, but my Bible is this: The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I read this 4 times, and it is quite a commitment. This, for me, it saved my life in every sense, and I mean every sense. Uh, Once you understand it, and it's actually quite simple technically to understand, it does. It's enlightening but confronting at the same time, and it makes sense because the more I do client work, I've noticed that really the problems and the solutions tend to interface. So they're pretty much the same thing. They're not diametrically opposed at all. So, and often the case, what gets us to look away in this life is really where we should look forward towards instead. It is very difficult, this, because sometimes, yes, is it irrational thinking? Again, by what metric is it irrational? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe this thing in the back of your head and maybe the pain itself is trying to guide you towards something, you know. Especially those things that kind of just won't go away. I think it might be a window into the unconscious sometimes. And I think we need a better relationship with pain. I don't like a lot of the language in mental health or psychology, and even if it has its own utility in a sense and it's well meaning, a well worn phrase, get through it. Okay, fair enough. And if to anyone who's really bloody down right now, yes, and to myself included, get through it. Let's get through this, okay, right? We can adopt that phrase a bit too heavily in our lives, though, because really, get through it to what? To where exactly? What's on the other side? Well, there might be something on the other side, that's fine. But the point is, at what point do we accept the now? Maybe we don't really need to get through anything. Maybe we're at where we're at for a reason, generally speaking. So really, the idea is if we have a better relationship with pain, or we don't need to, it's not just the negative reframes, but even the positive reframes. And I'm not saying not to do those, by the way, okay, right? Instead, they just, we can end up living in circles and really just doing the same thing in any case, no matter what the reframe is. And I think if we have a better relationship with pain, I think we could feel pain, even if it feels like you're being punched in the stomach at times, and it does. You will find you tend to lead a less prescriptive life, and you would definitely have more confidence. For me personally, I'm definitely more confident than I used to be. That's for sure. For most of my life, it's like living in a straitjacket or a glass box. And because I'm endlessly in my mind trying to get away from stuff, and that's obviously a trauma response from childhood. It's not to get rid of that necessarily, it's just to realign your relationship with that part of you, okay? And knowing, I've never found this not to be the case, by the way, you will have another side. It will exist, okay? And there is a way of accessing that. And what mental health success looks like, it won't eradicate anything up here really. Okay, I still can see and feel everything, if not more, because I've lived longer now. Okay, it's just like that your mind and way of looking at life and yourself expands, so you're not so confined to it. And so it's like you can take this pain in concordance with something else. That something else, by the way, is unique to you. That's the bit I can't specifically predict, but I know I can get you there, or I can at least help get you there via this medium. Thanks.